ISO Boom, what's going on YouTube? It's your favorite YouTuber you just don't know yet, and we back with, there's always cars, and we back with another one of the new stuff. I don't know what else to call it, but the new stuff. So we're gonna be going over this. I mean, it's been out for some time now. I didn't watch it until like last week, I think, and I wanted to sit on it and see how I really felt, and honestly see if I really cared enough to review it, if that makes sense. And here we are. Evidently I cared enough, so we're gonna get into it. First and foremost, I don't want to start off by getting into the documentary, but I want to get into myself. So a lot of you guys have seen the channel for some time. A lot of you don't know too much about my football background, but I was a D1 recruit coming out of high school. It wasn't many schools, it wasn't huge schools like Alabama, USC or anything, and I think that's kind of what adds to the realism of it. There's millions of colleges out there, and I feel like a lot of you guys that are trying to get into the next level look at, oh, if I don't go to Alabama, USC, UCLA, then I'm a failure. That's really not what it is. I was personally being recruited by Fresno State and another D2 school, but those were the main schools that were really looking at me. And what cut that short and why I didn't play college ball was honestly injuries. I had 3 concussions my senior year, strained my hamstring, and I was honestly not really the same after that. My speed wasn't all there. That's kind of why I pivoted to other sports after high school. You guys probably can't see it, but my thumb is like busted. Like, you see, like, this feels fine to me. Like,
he needs some milk.
It's messed up. It's fine. It's okay now, but yeah, I broke this thumb, dislocated this thumb, or something happened, dislocated this one. That's why that happens. Overall injuries are kind of what made my decision to not pursue football. I had other passions, film, just overall content creation, which is why I kind of stuck with it. And I actually have a college polo on right now. It's not mine, it's my brother. Shout out my brother, but I just thought it fit the aesthetic, you know what I'm saying? In this documentary, we all have heard at the very least of Bishop Sycamore, the school. We saw them play IMG, and we'll get to that. But Bishop Sycamore was I guess kind of a ragtag school, you could say, full of facades, full of baiting, full of manipulation, just a real bad mixed bag of things that we'll get into. Somebody decided to find the coach of the football team and ask them, hey, what happened? And that's how you get BS High, the documentary on HBO Max. I want to jump into this analyzation or whatever you want to call it in 2 segments. The first one is going to be football, but the second one is going to be psychological. The first one is given football, it's about football, high school football, but the second one is about psychology and the manipulation that the coach used, what the coach used to really ruin the lives of these athletes. And for those of you that don't know, my undergrad in college was psychology, so I know a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So let's jump into it. So the Christians of Faith Academy was founded by Ron Johnson in 2018, and it was essentially just an online charter school to help kids pretty much that couldn't go to public school if they got kicked out for whatever reason, or if they had bad grades, disciplinary issues, etc., etc. This was supposed to be an extra outlet for kids that were trying to play sports at the next level to kind of get them out. And at this school, way back when it was the CFA, it was essentially used to sell these kids a pipe dream. Hey, you can come over to this online charter school if you have bad grades, don't have enough film, etc., etc., and we can get you film. We can get you on the field. We can get you the publicity you need to get recruited at the next level. So here's where I want to interject my football partay. What? That's not even a word. So this is where I want to interject my personal statement of the football recruitment side of all of this. When you get recruited, for those of you underclassmen, or for those of you that have already been recruited can probably attest to this, colleges don't really promote themselves in a sense that they need you, but you come join their culture. They have all these amenities. They have this much faculty to student ratio. They have this kind of amenities. They have these kind of accolades. They have all these championships, these rings, etc., etc. They try to sell you what the team can bring for you. They run this kind of scheme that fits your play style, etc., etc. For CFA or Bishop Sycamore, they sold a pipe dream. They didn't sell, we have these kind of amenities. They didn't say, hey, come over here. They said, hey, this is what we can offer you. Sounds too good to be true kind of way. Because I remember one of the big selling points for Fresno State for myself was they ran a 3-3-5. They ran a nickelback, and I played a hybrid safety corner role, whatever the team needed at the time. and I would be able to fit that nickel role. They also were pitching to me that they had upperclassmen leaving and those people played DB, so they needed a new batch of students and recruits to come in, which would be myself, and kind of fill in for the next batch. In comparison to BS High, they were offering anything you wanted to hear. Now, for me, I wasn't necessarily told the things that I wanted to hear, but I was told things that sounded good. When someone tries to sell you something and they try to tell you all the things that you want to hear, it's kind of a red flag. With BS High, they offered him, well, if you need to get on the field, we can get you on the field. If you need film, we can get you film. If you need to get recruited by the top schools, these top 25 schools, we can do that for you. So they sold a pipe dream and told you what you wanted to hear. When you're in the recruitment process, you're not really told what you want to hear, but you're told, it's kind of like if you came into an ice cream parlor and I tried to sell you ice cream cake. You may not have came in for ice cream cake, but I'm going to try to sell you ice cream cake because it's what we have. It's what we specialize in, whatever it is. And I won't even get into the whole selling a pipe dream or selling a dream, offering a place to succeed from a starving artist, athlete. It happens in all avenues of life. That one's pretty much a given because, mind you, this online charter school was not free. In 2019, the CFA would be rebranded to the Youth Build Centurions. Then from there, the school would eventually be called Bishop Sycamore. Once Bishop Sycamore was titled, that's when the football season started rolling. They had the recruits, they had the people that they needed, they had enough for a roster. Then they started scheduling games. And all of these seasons up until the moment against IMG on ESPN, they never went above 500. They usually lost almost every game, but they always broke rules. This ended up having their opponents cancel games on them for XYZ reasons, whether that be unpaid hotel bills, finding out they have adults on the team, not having enough equipment, just people. When you have a legitimate organization, you want to steer clear of the scammers and all of the sus stuff. I'll touch on more of them not being able to pay the hotel bills because that's going to segue into something, and that's honestly what really set me off in the whole entire documentary. I know that I'm speaking and I'm kind of leaving out a lot of details because I don't want to spoil the experience of BS High. I do think, I forgot the director. I honestly think Trayvon Free did a really fantastic job with creating this documentary. Shout out to all the black filmmakers out there. You know, your boy trying to be up there soon. He did an awesome job portraying it in an objective light as much as he could, and just honestly letting the characterization of the head coach kind of show himself. He spoke a lot without asking a certain question. He kind of just let the character speak for himself. And when I mean character, I just mean the personality, the persona of Ron Johnson. I think I said Ron Johnson a few times. His name is Roy Johnson. But fast forward, a few seasons are under Bishop Sycamore's belt, and Coach Johnson has the experience of his team, and now he wants to schedule the hardest schedule that he can possibly get. I want to say they were at ranked 4 or something with the hardest schedule in the country. 4th hardest high school football schedule, and you're barely winning games. So explain to me how that makes any sense. Nah, I'm kind of just rambling at this point. But if I know we got to go up against the Titans, and we not ready for the Titans, why the hell would I play them? It just makes no sense. Don't you play to at least win? Even if it gets you publicity, like, if someone's getting their ass whooped, why would you? What film is that giving? But I digress. I apologize. Yes, the documentary is fantastic, and you should go watch it because it exposes the personalities of scammers worldwide. Coach Roy Johnson is, I honestly, like a personification of just a manipulative figure. Besides football, it can be in any sport that you play. It can be in any job you're trying to get. Whatever walk of life you're in, there are people like this that are out there willing to prey, in this example particular, on high school kids. Some of them were adults, but high school kid athletes. While they have these first few seasons and they're gaining that experience, this is around 2021 when everyone started noticing Bishop Sycamore. Bishop Sycamore started their social media run, starting to get more publicity, more traction, and then this resulted in the game on ESPN against IMG. Now, how the culmination of having the hardest schedule combined with the social media, I don't know how all that culminated into getting on ESPN to play I think ultimately everyone can agree here, the best high school football team to play against for the past like decade at this point. Mind you, you're losing to local private schools or anybody willing to take a bite from your plate. You're trying to play the hardest high school football team in America. Once this game commences, everybody knows who Bishop Sycamore is. I knew about them at this point. You probably heard of Bishop Sycamore somewhere here or there. And that's eventually what led to everything just blowing up, because when you get eyes on you, people start doing their research. Regardless of age, I know that I spoke on the team had 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds, maybe even a 20-year-old. When you play someone that's bred for football, like IMG recruits, it doesn't matter if you have a year or two of maturity ahead of them as an advantage. If they're bred for football, I don't know what to tell you, good luck. This is where we kind of start segueing into the aftermath. I wanted to speed through this part, but this is where when you lose, people do their research. People start finding out there are adults on the team. Once you find out there are adults, who's the scumbag? The player doing it. All of these things start to fall back on the players, but when you really sit back and assess the situation, that's when you realize who's to blame. The coach. This we're going to segue into the manipulation aspect of it all. Throughout the documentary, you can see just the overall manipulation of personal gain. When I want you to do something, I'm going to convince you in a way to where it benefits the both of us. Even though if you really think about what you're gaining from this, there's not much from it. Coach Johnson deliberately lies to his players. You see this again, like I stated in the beginning of the video, promising the pipe dream, promising the perfect road to glory into D1 football and just having that smooth ride out there. Mind you, they're skipping out on hotel costs. They don't even have an athletic trainer to heal. They don't even have an athletic trainer to help mend the players when they're injured. During the IMG game, there were like 3 blown knees. Not, oh, I got to scratch, oh, I got to scrape. 3 torn ACLs. Who's gonna help you? There's a specific segment in the documentary where Coach Johnson says he's an honest liar. And I think that kind of sums up his personality. Admitting when you're wrong is honorable for all of us. Admitting when you're wrong and learning from the mistakes and trying to tell someone else for the betterment of everybody is what that is supposed to do. But when you admit your wrongdoings for other people to lower their guard, to trust you for being vulnerable, just to go around their back and do it again, or to do something worse, that's not why we're honest with each other. That's not why we're vulnerable. But what some people do is they take that vulnerability, that trust that you build with people, and they turn it on its head for their own personal gain. And Coach Johnson treads the line between claiming that he's doing this for the kids, the players. He knows where they're he's very familiar with their background. He tries to build on that personal level, but at the same time, how much do you care about them when you know they come from nothing, when you know they have no source of positivity, when they don't know right from wrong, they don't have the influence of critical thinking to think, what is this person doing for me? When you deliberately lie just for the sake of, I know how vulnerable this person is, so I'm going to do this to them. Those are the people that are easily manipulated because they're starving for that person to trust. They're starving for that positive figure in their lives. As all of these things are coming out with the lack of equipment, lack of staff, skipped out on bills, he tries to again fall back on saying, I'm doing this for the players. I don't have enough myself, so how are we gonna do this? But who takes the blame? The players. Overall, I think that Coach Johnson, I hate to admit it, is a smart person. You have to be pretty educated and at least personable to understand how people work to manipulate them, which is the unfortunate truth. But doing it to children, to teenagers, to kids, to people that are starving to make it to the next level, not for themselves at this point, for other people, for their families. They're trying to make it for other people. You using that vulnerability of just that starving, that hunger, and turning it on its head and using it for personal gain it's deplorable, it's insane, it's disgusting. But the last part that just bothered me so much was when I found out who signed off on the hotel bills. Dude, the players had to sign off on these, and what happened is they have to pay for they take that credit hit. When you say, Coach Johnson, that you are doing it for the players, why didn't you sign off on it? I don't know, man. This documentary definitely bothered me. I have like a script outline, but I couldn't keep with it. But oh man, everyone should watch this because not only football, but it teaches you about manipulative personalities. It shows you what it's like to meet someone that's antisocial. Antisocial doesn't literally just mean not willing to be social, doesn't want to talk to people, but it also disconnects the brain to feeling empathy for somebody, to feel bad that you are going to trip them while they're walking. Some people do not make that connection because their own ego is higher than others. As we transition to these kind of videos, guys, I'm gonna get better with structuring them, I promise. I do character analyses of anime characters, which honestly I would argue is probably more organized than this. This, I was rambling, I didn't really structure it super well. I didn't know exactly how I wanted to attack it because I could have done the psychology aspect of it. I think that was like most of this, but I'll put it somewhere over here. That's gonna be the end of this video though. If you guys like this type of content, like this one up, especially so I can do more. I'm honestly planning on reacting to maybe making like a playoffs prediction video, as obviously it would be better if I make it earlier, but doing more types of reactions to just football content. If there's other documentaries, when there's other documentaries coming out, I would love to react to those. I appreciate y'all for rocking with your boy. If you stayed to the end of this video and watched the whole thing, then it means you liked it, so go ahead and like it up. But yeah, man, be on the lookout for these snakes and scammers. Keep your grass cut. I appreciate y'all for rocking with your boy. If nobody's told you yet, I know the show grind. Keep up the hard work. It's gonna pay off one day. And I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.